Hey everybody, I'm Tarl Yarber with Fixated Real Estate. I've done a little over 600 single-family fix and flips in my career. I've invested in BRRRR strategy, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. I've done some commercial properties, a little bit of development. I've done a little bit of everything. And what I'm most known for though is being able to scale real estate businesses with limited resources. There's plenty of companies out there that have done way more than me, that have bigger teams, way more employees, way more overhead, lots of flashy things. That's not me. What I'm good at is teaching you and teaching other people how to be able to develop their businesses in a way with the limited resources they have so they could do a lot more with less, or they can have more freedom in their lives, or they can also maybe scale up bigger and bigger and grow a business, not just a hobby. That said, today's real estate market's crazy. There's 5 key things that I'm adjusting in my business that I also focus on almost every day in my businesses. And what I want to encourage you guys to do if you're going to scale your business, because it's not just about scaling up. It's also about adjusting and scaling down. And today it's more important than ever to be able to shift on a moment's notice because we don't know where the market's going. So let's go over those 5 key things right now. Okay guys, so like I said, scaling real estate and scaling a business in general, most of us just think about only going up and going from 0 to 10 or 100 or whatever. But scaling is ability to go up and down. It's a scale. You could scale up and you could scale down. Can you adjust your business in a way to where if there's a shift, a change, a pivot point, you can also reduce resources or reduce effort or reduce overhead if you need to. But if you build a business that is constantly growing to where you're basically building, digging yourself into a hole or fortifying your position, that's not always the best thing in the real estate market today. That's up to you though. So today I'm going to go over some key things that can help you maybe be able to not just scale up, but also be able to adjust and scale on a moment's notice when you need to. So the first thing I want you guys to think about this phrase, more houses or more properties equals more money. Is that yes or a no? Is that true or false? Now, for most of us, we're going like, well, that depends. Some of you guys might have said, yes, heck yes, it does. And that might be true. But most of the time, the right answer is maybe. It just depends on how you built your business. So number one thing is more properties does not always equal more money. Better systems equals better profit. Now, what do I mean by that? There's a famous phrase out there with coders, right? Junk in, junk out. If you built up your company in a way that you can handle maybe 2 or 3 properties at a time, that's great. That's a good process for you to be able to do 2 or 3 properties at a time or invest in 3 deals a year or 2 or 3 or whatever. But as soon as you get to 10 or maybe 20, a lot of times that system breaks. And so you might be making good money on 3 deals, but if you started doing 6, you might lose money on all 6 or make less money than you did on the 3 previously. So better systems and processes allow you to scale, but they also allow you to get better margins. So one of the challenges while you scale up is that your processes have to scale with you. So this is a constant working piece of art, basically. It's a constant thing that you're always working on every day. My business has been around full time since 2011, even though I got started in the real estate business in 2005. I was wholesaling real estate in 2005, 6 and 7, got out of it, right? Market crashes, but I went full time again in 2011. And while I've been doing that, every month, every year, we're constantly reevaluating our processes, whether we're scaling up even bigger or scaling down for various reasons. So it's a work in progress, so make sure you guys are working on it every day because nobody has it perfectly, even the ones that look like they do. The number 2 key thing, this is a big shift for me years ago, is really defining my niche. So what is your niche? If you're going to grow a business and grow a team around you and scale up or be able to tell people the type of deals you're looking for, you need to know what you specifically do. Many of us get into this real estate business and we say we're going to do anything that makes money. However, that doesn't make a lot of sense, and that's very vague to most people. How do you develop team members when we say we're going to just do all this stuff over here and it's vague and unreal, when most people need more specific things, such as, hey, we're going in this direction, we invest in these types of properties, we're going to do this type of volume, we're going to go over here in these specific markets, do you want to come along? More people can get excited about that because they can wrap their head around it. If I'm looking for deals and looking to acquire better properties and I go to a realtor, a wholesaler, somebody that helps with acquisitions, whatever it might be, and I say, hey, just send me any deal that looks good. They don't know what that means because a deal to them that looks good might not be a deal that looks good to you. And they might send you some properties that you say no to. How long are they going to keep sending you properties if you keep saying no to them because you're not giving them a specific criteria? So define your niche. In 2015, I completely revamped my business to only do one thing and one thing only, and that's flip houses for a 15% cash on cash in King County, Pierce County, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. When I used to be in 7 states prior to that and do all sorts of crazy deals. I got very focused and very niche-y, and I mastered that in that one little area with a specific type of rehab and a specific type of process with a smaller team, and we made the most profit we've ever made and continued to do so the more we niched out. So remember this is my favorite phrase when it comes to any kind of niching, is master one, then add on. Think about plate spinnings, right? The guy, like this is a weird old one, right? You can see the guy spinning the plate around, this guy doesn't sit there and start 5 plate spins, right? Or female or whatever, start 5 plate spins and then they all fall down because you have to do one first, get it going, then they do the next, then they do the next. So master one, then add on. If you decide that you're going to do commercial real estate, what kind of commercial real estate? How specific are you going to get with that? If you're going to do single family homes, okay, how specific is that? Are you flipping them? Are you burning them? Are you renting them? Are you developing them? Are you doing all of that? How specific can you get so that you can communicate that to not just your team, but also the people helping you find those deals? That said, then master that and add on and change. It changed my entire business when I got really good at one thing and then added on. Number 3, right people, right seats. Now I stole that from EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System. You guys could look up some books on that one day. We run our businesses on that. Now in EOS, they talk about right people, right seats. Now what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you just hire the right people, but then you put them in the wrong place. Or you have the right position, but you don't have the right people. You need both. Now, a lot of us, when we first start scaling or thinking that we're going to grow and build, we say we need team members. I need people. I'm doing this by myself. I can't DIY this all the time. That's actually another thing you got to think about, which I'm not going to get into in this video, is how do you overcome the DIY mentality, do-it-yourself mentality. It's the number one thing I see most people fail at in any kind of business at all, is the mentality of doing it yourself. Now, I digress. Going back to right people, right seats. You might need to add somebody onto your team, and you might say, I just need bodies. But if you just hire people or bring people on and you don't have a specific seat for them and they don't know what their role is and it's not clearly defined and they don't know where they're supposed to go with it, you're going to get a lot of mixed results from that, or a lot of lack of results as well. So you might get disappointed. You might sit there and go like, this person's not doing anything. I don't understand. Do they know what they're supposed to do? Do they know what their seat is? Do they know what their role is? And are they the right person for this? Now that doesn't just mean, are they the right person for the right seat? Are you the right person for the seat that you're in? A little bit about myself right now. I hate designing houses. I don't actually like houses very much to begin with, actually, other than living in them, I guess, and making money on them. But besides that, when I like walking into Home Depot and going to the lumber area and maybe look at a hardware. I don't go into the tile. I don't go into finishes. I don't look at fixtures. I don't really care about that stuff. So am I the best person to sit there and walk into a property and go on Pinterest and start designing a house and how it should look? Absolutely not. I am the wrong person in that seat. So if I want to make less money in this business, I should design the houses, right? No, I need to find the right person that can fill the seat to design that house. That doesn't mean that we hire them though. They might be a good realtor, they might be a designer, it might be another investor, it might be a family friend, who knows, but the right person's out there. Maybe you shouldn't be the person designing all the properties too. Maybe you shouldn't be the person managing the rehab. Maybe you shouldn't be the person acquiring the rehab. Or maybe the right seat for you is the one thing that you're the best at that nobody else can do in your business and that you can focus on. And if you focused on that one thing, it can exponentially grow your business as long as the rest of the pieces are taken care of by other people. That's a big thing what I just said, but that's what it takes sometimes to be able to grow your business. Remember to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I the right person for this? Am I lacking the qualifications or lacking the skills to do this well? Or do I need to bring other people in? Another point when it comes to right people, right seats, is that if you want to have a world-class business, you need to hire world-class people. What do I mean by that? That means you have to hire not the most convenient people, not the people that are just there in front of you or in your life, but people that you got to seek out that have world-class skills that can teach you how to do their job, not the other way around. That costs some money to do that, or maybe some equity in a deal, or maybe some profit in certain properties. There's many ways to be able to leverage and develop profit share as well as revenue share and all sorts of ways to structure salary to be able to bring in the right people when you're ready for it. But if you're looking for more of a mom and pop or a hobby type business, that's a little different. Maybe you don't want a world-class business. Maybe you want somebody that like, hey, you can just make some extra money with. Maybe you want an assistant that just helps you with some data entry or like some escrow tasks or transaction coordination. That's all fantastic. Maybe you don't want to scale up big, but maybe you don't want to hire the wrong person and then hold on to the too long and find yourself losing money in the long run. So always think that right people, right seats. Okay, number 4, leverage technology. Now for some of you guys, that's really easy. You love technology, that's fantastic. And then there's other people out there that maybe technology is very scary, very frightening, and there's so many options out there to choose from. But I can tell you this firsthand, without technology, without the right technology for my business, I wouldn't be able to do everything that I do. Now back in late 2017, my wife and I changed our entire businesses to be able to run off of our phones. I wanted to be able to travel. I wanted to have more of a lifestyle business. In fact, I was scaled up pretty good with good overhead and good team, and I wanted to scale down to be able to have more freedom in my life. Right? So in order to do that, I had to leverage technology. So in 2018, I started changing some of our systems, processes, brought the team together, changed our criteria and so forth, but started dumping in information into technology to be able to leverage my business so I could run it from my phone. There's so many different apps out there. There's so many different ways to be able to leverage technology in today's business. I'll give you guys a few pointers on it. I will tell you one thing right away. Stop looking for the perfect app or web service or technology that can do everything you can, everything you need for your real estate business. It doesn't exist. And in my opinion, it never will. And the reason why it never will is because we all do this business differently and we all need different things. How you run your flip business is different than me. So what I need for my business is different than from you. So a one size fit all is just not going to be there. Now, there's different elements of the real estate business, whether it's acquisitions, planning, rehab, whatever, disposition, that have good software processes for each one of those elements. For acquisitions, you might use programs out there like for CRM management, which would be a big thing, right? There's a lot of CRM managements out there, Podio and Velo, that kind of stuff, which are great ones. For me, I really, really care about data storage. I care about photos. I care about documentation. I care about being able to process drive a property to where at any moment I can look up any pictures on the property, I can look up any documents I need on a property, our P&L, profit and loss sheet, so forth. I want to be able to do that. So there's file storage programs out there that we all have on our phone right now, whether we like it or not. That can be your Dropbox, that can be Google Docs or similar things like that. I use Dropbox like crazy. But then there's also a management software out there. And there's so many out there for project management. Now, there's no one size fit all. There's great ones out there for construction management that can be super heavy for you. And then there's really simple, really basic ones out there. I use a program called Asana, A-S-A-N-A, right? And you can also use programs like Monday, Trilio. There's so many out there. What fits for you is all that matters. The point is, though, you're going to have to build it, unfortunately, right? There's no really template out there, but you can look for it, right? Other programs like Excel, we use a program called Smartsheet, right? You can use Google Forms, right? Google Sheets. The point is this, if you spend your entire business looking for the one software, you're not going to find it. Now that said, you're going to eventually have to develop your own. You could steal some stuff from us. You could steal some stuff from BiggerPockets. There's other people out there that share the sheets they use and so forth, but you're going to have to develop a process. A good book that actually helped me with that is a book called The Checklist Manifesto, right? Great book. And that book helped me figure out SOPs and processes to leverage with technology. It's a good book to check out. Another good book is actually 4-Hour Workweek, which I've read a ton of times to help me change my thinking on how to develop processes, especially around leveraging technology. And the fifth and final for you guys, this is the one that most people tend to skip. And that's your ability to manage resources. Resource management is everything. And I don't just mean like doors and base and trim or whatever, and that because materials. I'm more talking about money management. Spoiler alert, we're investors first. That's what we do. That's who we are. Investors mitigate risk, but more importantly, they manage investments, right? We invest money to make money, or we invest other people's money to make more money. The key thing there is it's money, right? So resource management includes mostly your financials. And the number one mistake that I see from people that grow their businesses, they might have been able to scale from 0 to 10 or even 10 to 100, but the underlying common thread for the people that end up failing or not being able to stay there or start struggling and floundering is because they have bad financials. They didn't manage their finances and their resources correctly. They just grew, but didn't know if they were making money or not. Didn't know if they could afford hiring those people or afford that next project or be able to raise that capital that they need to raise because they weren't managing the resources effectively. So the bigger you get, and even the smaller you get, in my opinion, day one, you should be focused on getting clean financials. Learn QuickBooks or have somebody learn QuickBooks for you. Develop ways to be able to track your rehab and construction costs, right? Excel is really good for that, very basic sheet for that, but QuickBooks is better. There's other programs out there as well that can help you do this too. The point is, get good at managing your resources, because if you want to hire somebody, how do you know if you can afford it? If you did 10 projects, do you know how much money you made on those projects? Do you know how much money you made on the last project? Could you show somebody that? If you want to get better financing from bank financing, can you prove to the bank how much money you actually make when you do your taxes? This is all super important long term. And in today's market, when the rates are going up and things are changing, knowing where you stand today on a map and where you are financially and where you are with your resources is more important than ever. Many of us have gotten lucky over the last few years with the market saving us constantly. I've been saved on a couple deals myself. But at the end of the day, we need to know where we are on a map, exactly where we are, or else we get lost. Because how are we going to know where to go to scale and where we're going to develop if we don't know where we are today? So manage your resources correctly. Even if it's scary, even if it's ugly, know where you are right now. So I hope those 5 key things help you out. It's stuff that I do every day. It's stuff that I'm always trying to get better at. You guys can comment, like, subscribe to this video. You can also follow me on Instagram at Tarl Yarber. I do my best to post there when I can. And also make sure you guys follow BiggerPockets, and I'll see you on the next video.